Thoughts about suicide as an option in human life are not uncommon. Acting on suicidal thoughts is a different matter. How can suicidal thoughts turn into a fatal action?
Konrad Michel is professor of psychiatry at the University of Bern in Switzerland. Over the last 40 years, he has conducted hundreds of interviews with survivors of suicide attempts. The traditional medical model considers suicide to be a consequence of mental disorders, such as depression. Medical professionals therefore ask suicidal patients primarily about symptoms of mental disorders rather than about their personal reasons for suicide. It is as if medical professionals and suicidal patients speak different languages. Suicidal patients often avoid asking for help, fearing they will be misunderstood or that they might be admitted to a psychiatric hospital against their will. Dr. Michel and Dr. Valach have co-developed a new approach to understand the suicidal person. In 1997, they published a first case study entitled Suicide as a Goal-Directed Action. They found that the immediate goal of a suicidal person is to end a painful and existentially threatening inner experience. The alarm system responds to this existential crisis, as if the person was facing a lion. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, activates the stress system. In a state of high emotional stress, the emotional brain takes over, overriding the prefrontal cortex, the brain area responsible for rational problem solving. In a highly stressful condition, we can no longer think rationally. We start acting like a robot, with suicide as the immediate goal. Dr. Michel and Dr. Valach then invited patients to tell them about the background of their suicidal crisis. They found that the suicidal crises were often related to earlier negative experiences, such as separation, rejection, violence, and abuse. This left them vulnerable for similar negative experiences, triggering painful emotional memories. People tend to keep these unpleasant feelings to themselves, hiding behind a mask, pretending that everything is okay. This makes things worse. Talking to a trusted person about pain and shame is the first step to be safe. It is important to understand one's own suicidality and to know how to deal with future similar experiences. Brief therapies can effectively reduce suicide risk. One such therapy is ASIP. In a study, this brief therapy reduced the risk of future suicide attempts by 80%. Therapists must take time to listen to the patient's suicide stories, to help them realize suicide is not a rational action, to help them become aware of their personal warning signs, and to know the safety strategies that will keep them safe in the future. Read more in the new book by Konrad Michel, published by Columbia University Press.